All right, a lot of activity here today. What do we got now? My number 42 is higher than his number 33. Boom. Hey, it's number one best-selling author and motivational speaker Erik Qualman. A lot of you know me as Equalman. We've got a lot of activity in the background today for our 7 super tips because it's that hot. They've called out the fire department. It's so hot because we have Magic Johnson. That's right, Urban Magic Johnson. Quick fun fact about Magic, there is one statistic where I was better at Michigan State University than he was in basketball. My number 42 was much higher than his 33. Now, without further ado, here are 7 super tips from the only man in the world that's won a high school championship, a college championship, an Olympic gold medal, and an NBA championship. That's right, 7 super tips from Magic Johnson.
I worry about brand control. My brand is huge now, right? And one thing I fight with every day, I want to make sure I don't dilute the brand. I don't do anything, make any major mistakes, because any mistake will hurt your brand. And so those are the things that keep me up at night, just making sure my brand remains strong. And so that's a good message for all these young men and women watching your show, is make sure that your brand is everything. And you will always be able to make money if your brand is strong. Even if you go bankrupt, if your brand is strong, you'll be able to still make some money. Donald Trump proved that. He bounced right back. Look where he is today. You know, he went through that phase, came right back, because he kept the brand strong. And that's important. Well, I'm a big believer in, if you don't dream it, you can't become it. I mean, look where you're sitting. You've done a wonderful job, and you remained a good man with all the success that you've had and your family has had. And just like myself, you had to dream that you could be something in life and do something in life. And so I was a big dreamer, you know, and so my job was to clean these 7 floors between Friday and Sunday. So every time I would go to the 7th floor was the CEO's office. So I would bust in like I was the CEO. I'm dreaming like I'm the CEO now. And then I would kick my feet up on his desk, recline the seat back, and I pretended like I had an assistant out front, and I would hit the intercom button. Tony, could you bring me today's paper and some coffee and donuts? You know, and so I pretend she would come into the office, and you know, and one time I'm sitting there dreaming, and he walks in on me. And he said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm dreaming like I'm the CEO." And who would have ever thought? I've been blessed. And here I am the CEO of my own company, and what a blessing. And so, but I think back to those moments, and those moments helped me to get to where I am today. Who think that, oh, I don't have to put the time in, and then 5 or 6 guys will pass them. And we see that still today. You know, some people rely too much on their talent, and they don't put the hard work, or they don't have the work ethic to go along with that talent. And so you got to put the time in. You have to be a hard worker, and it will come back to you. Because especially when you're in sports. And so you have to listen to your coaches, and you have to listen to your teammates. And because they're going to really affect the outcome of the game. And so I was always one of those players who listened because of what my mother told me. And then at the end of the day, also, too, I listened to other CEOs and other business people as well, because I don't know it all and don't pretend that I do. The same principles really apply from being a basketball player as well as a CEO. When you think about focus, strategy, discipline. So I'm still that same guy that has those same principles as a CEO. And what I was doing as a basketball player first, and also a competitor, because I hate to lose at anything. I'm a perfectionist. So I was a perfectionist as a basketball player. I did the drills over and over and over again. And even today, I'm a perfectionist, and I want to do everything the right way. So when you think about principles, being an athlete or a basketball player. It's the same thing as a CEO. I'm a guy who's going to get there early. You know, I'm a professional. We would go door to door, pick up people's trash. And it was one situation where it was probably 7 below zero and very cold Saturday morning. And my job was to pick up all the loose trash. And so it was so cold that I got everything that I could just grab, throw it on the truck, and I ran to the truck because it was just cold to jump in. By the time I got in and the door shut, my father opened it back up, grabbed me and dragged me through the snow back to the barrels to say, "Son, you did a halfway job. And if you do this job in a halfway manner, you're going to be a halfway basketball player. You put in half the time. You only put in half the time as a student." And he said, "You're supposed to do this job right. So I want you to go get that shovel, and I want you to chop the ice until you can get all the trash that's trapped in the ice and put it on the truck." And that's what happened. And so he taught me how to be a perfectionist. See, self-evaluation is the hardest thing we have to do, because you have to be honest with yourself. What's your strength and what's your weaknesses? And it's not about your ego, it's about telling the truth. I knew basketball, I knew how to play the point guard position, on and on and on, but I didn't know business, so I had to get me some mentors to help me along the way. And I sat down with anybody who would sit down with me, right? Picking their brains, a lot of CEOs, a lot of presidents of companies. So I'm writing down information on paper, but also up here.
Thank you for joining us for today's 7 super tips from the one and only Michigan State Spartan, Irvin Magic Johnson. Magic is near and dear to my heart because when he contracted the HIV virus, I was actually at college at Michigan State University. The only place that he could play, keep in mind he was the MVP, he was the reigning MVP of the NBA, so he was the best basketball player in the world. The only place that he could play basketball at that time, because people are afraid of getting blood on themselves. I know it sounds crazy today, but at the time the only place he could play or practice was against us, the Michigan State basketball team. So I was honored and privileged to play against the best player in the world at the time, day to day at Michigan State University. This show is designed to unlock and unleash your inner superpower. So to ensure that you get next week's video, make sure you hit that subscribe button below. And until next time, remember, it's not what you take from the world, it's what you leave behind. On a personal note, I just want to say a huge thanks to Magic. You've always been there for me. You endorsed my book on the back here for What Happens on Campus Stays on YouTube, which is designed for middle school students, high school students, and also college students. So if you're a parent, make sure you try to pick up a copy because it's all about making sure they're putting their best foot forward when it comes to their personal brand. And when it comes to personal brands, it doesn't get any bigger than Magic Johnson. So I just want to say thank you so much and Sparty on. Magic is near and dear to my heart because during, oh nice.